You finally did it. You saved your first $10,000. And the moment you did, your brain started telling you exactly how to spend it. A new car, a vacation, maybe finally upgrade your phone. The money feels real. It feels like yours. And that feeling is exactly what will destroy you. Hey, my name is Hasnain, and welcome to HN Invest, where we break down the financial habits and money psychology that actually change your life. Today, we're talking about your first $10,000 and why touching it is the single biggest financial mistake most people make. Studies show that over 60% of Americans have less than $1,000 in savings, and the ones who do reach $10,000, most of them spend it within the first 6 months. Why? Because nobody teaches you what to do after you save $10,000. The hard part isn't saving it. The hard part is not touching it. Here's the problem. When most people hit $10,000 for the first time, they experience something called fulfill illusion. They feel rich, even though $10,000 is barely a starting point. And that illusion is dangerous. Because the moment you feel rich, your brain stops acting like someone who needs to build wealth and starts acting like someone who already has it. This is a psychological trap, and most financial advisors won't tell you about it because they're too busy talking about stocks and ETFs. But before we get into the solution, let me show you what actually happens to most people's first $10,000. It's a story you've probably lived yourself. Meet Alex. Alex worked 2 jobs for 14 months straight, sacrificed weekends, skipped vacations, ate at home every single day, just to reach $10,000. Now here's what I want you to think about before we continue. Drop a comment below. How long did it take you to save your first $1,000? Let's see the real numbers from real people. The day Alex hit $10,000, his friend called. "Bro, we should go to Vegas. You've been working so hard, you deserve this." And Alex thought, yeah, I do deserve this. That one word, deserve, is one of the most expensive words in personal finance because it bypasses every rational thought and goes straight for your emotions. Alex went to Vegas, spent $2,400, came back feeling guilty, then tried to invest the remaining $7,600 in a crypto coin his coworker recommended. Lost another $3,000 in a month. If this story sounds familiar, or if you want to make sure it never happens to you, make sure you're subscribed to HN Invest. We drop financial psychology content that your bank account actually needs. Alex ended up with $2,100 left from his $10,000. 14 months of sacrifice gone in 45 days. And the worst part? He had to start all over again. This is the $10,000 trap. And it's not just Alex. It's millions of people every single year. The saving is hard, but protecting what you saved is even harder. So let's talk about the psychology behind why this happens. There are 3 mental forces working against you the moment you hit $10,000. Force number 1, reward psychology. Your brain is literally wired to reward itself after hard work. Saving $10,000 triggers a dopamine response, the same thing you feel after finishing a workout or completing a big project. But here's the problem with that dopamine hit. It tricks you into thinking the journey is over, when actually $10,000 is just the beginning of the real financial journey. Quick question. Based on what we just covered about reward psychology, do you think saving money feels like an achievement that deserves a reward? Comment your honest answer below. I read every single one. Force number 2, social pressure. The moment people around you know you have $10,000, the invitations start coming. The suggestions start flowing. Let's go here. Let's do this. You can afford it now. This is called social spending pressure, and studies show it's responsible for over 40% of impulse spending decisions in young adults aged 18 to 35. The hardest thing about social pressure isn't saying no to bad ideas. It's saying no to good people. Your friends aren't trying to ruin you. They just don't know what $10,000 actually means for your future. Force number 3, FOMO investing. This one is the most dangerous because it sounds like a smart money move. Someone tells you about a stock, a coin, a can't-miss opportunity, and suddenly your $10,000 feels like it's just sitting there doing nothing. FOMO investing, the fear of missing out, has wiped out more first-time savers than any recession in history because it makes you feel like the problem, not the investment. So now you understand the 3 forces: reward psychology, social pressure, FOMO investing. Each one alone is manageable, but when all 3 hit at once, that's when $10,000 disappears. Now here's where we flip the script. Because the people who don't lose their first $10,000, they don't just have more willpower, they have a system. And I'm going to give you that system right now. This is the exact framework that wealth builders use when they hit their first major savings milestone. I call it the 10K Protection Protocol. Before I break down this protocol, if you're watching this on HN Invest for the first time, this is exactly the kind of content we make here. Real financial strategies, no fluff, no hype. Hit subscribe. Your future self will thank you. Step 1 of the 10K Protection Protocol: separate it immediately. The moment you hit $10,000, move it to a high-yield savings account. Out of sight, out of impulse. Why a high-yield savings account specifically? Because it does 2 things. It earns you 4 to 5% APY on your money, and it puts friction between you and impulse spending. Step 2, label your $10,000. This sounds simple, but it's psychologically powerful. Give that money a specific name: emergency fund, freedom fund, investment seed. A named purpose creates emotional resistance to spending. The psychology behind labeling money is called mental accounting, a concept proven by Nobel Prize-winning economist Richard Thaler. When money has a name, your brain treats it differently. Step 3, build your investment identity before you invest. Most people lose $10,000 in bad investments because they invest before they understand themselves as an investor. Before you invest a single dollar, you need to answer 3 questions. 1. What is my risk tolerance? 2. What is my investment timeline? 3. Do I understand this investment, or am I just trusting someone else's hype? Here's a real contrast. 2 people, both save $10,000. Person A touches it immediately, buys stuff, invests in hype. Person B follows the protocol, protects it, labels it, learns before investing. 5 years later, Person A is still trying to get back to $10,000. Person B has turned their $10,000 into $34,000 through compound interest and calculated index fund investing. That $34,000 wasn't magic. It was $10,000 left alone in an index fund, earning an average 12% annual return. Time and patience did the work, not hustle, not hype, not hot tips. This is the power of compound interest, the 8th wonder of the world, as Einstein reportedly called it. Money making money without you touching it. We just talked about compound interest and index fund investing. Let me ask you this. Have you already started investing, or are you still in the savings phase? Drop it in the comments. This community is full of people at every stage of the journey. Now let me show you what the smart money move looks like after you've protected your $10,000 for at least 3 to 6 months. This is when you can start deploying it, but only with a plan. The ideal first allocation for your $10,000. Keep 50% as your emergency fund. Invest 40% in broad market index funds, S&P 500 or total market. Keep 10% in a learning fund for financial education. Why 10% for a learning fund? Because the return on financial education is infinite. The more you learn about money, the better every single financial decision you make becomes. That's leverage you can't buy anywhere else. Let's go back to Alex one more time. After losing most of his $10,000, Alex found this exact framework. He rebuilt from $2,100. This time, he followed every step of the protocol. 3 years later, Alex had rebuilt to $10,000, then $18,000, then $31,000. Not because he got lucky, because he finally stopped touching his money before it had time to grow. Here's your core takeaway from everything we covered today. Your first $10,000 is not a reward. It's not a vacation fund. It's not gambling money. It's a foundation. And foundations are meant to be built on, not spent. The people who become genuinely wealthy aren't the ones who earn the most. They're the ones who protected their early money long enough for it to compound into something real. Remember the open loop from the beginning? You saved $10,000 and your brain told you exactly how to spend it. Now you know the answer. Don't listen to that voice. Not yet. Give that money time. It will tell you a very different story in 5 years. That's a wrap on today's video. One final question for you. After everything you just learned, what will you do differently with your money starting today? Drop it in the comments below. And if this video gave you one new idea about your money, share it with someone who needs to hear it. I'm Hasnain, this is HN Invests, and I'll see you in the next one.